Professionals.
As mighty armies clash in a struggle for total domination,
made it. All right.
I missed that intro.
Is CNN.
CNN Napier live.
Yeah, the Airport News Network. Yes.
Oh man, I feel like the intro was a lot better than anything we could say right now. The actual content, you're overselling the actual content, man. I swear to God.
Of course I am. Yeah.
God, we need to start getting serious here.
Oh, I know.
I need the production value. Yeah.
Yes.
Get your
Man.
podcast mic out.
Yeah, get a high definition image of a panda.
Yep.
I need to cut my hair. It's like,
wear a suit, take her to the dance, that type of shit. You know.
yeah, I know, right? Learn the sword in Japan.
Start wearing shades.
Goodness.
Ray-Bans.
I do have Ray-Bans though. I mean, I can give you that.
Yeah. One of my last pairs of glasses were Ray-Bans. Those are comfy.
My mom got hers from her brother as a gift, but the shape looks like it's for guys, and so she gave it to me. So I have a Ray-Ban. I have an Esprit and Ray-Bans now. So
An
Esprit Ray-Ban.
no, I have an Esprit shades and I have Ray-Ban shades. So I have two shades. It's nice. So
Cool.
that's how I am. How are you folks?
Doing well. How are you,
Yeah.
Panda?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. Tell everybody. How is everybody? Just tell everybody. Tell the world now.
End of show. Panda's doing great.
Good talk. All right. We're good.
Status update. We're good. No, I'm doing great. Coffee's doing great. Girls doing great. One night stands are doing great. So I'm all happy. You know?
Yeah, I heard about your last conquest, just middle of nowhere, hit her up, and it's like, well, boom, 15 minutes or something?
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
I mean, that's
So if people don't know the whole story about that, at least the way she told her story was that she had a date before me, and it was just a date. And based on everything that happened, it feels like she wanted to get fucked, but she didn't. And I was there to finish the job. So there we are. Yeah.
God, you evil degenerate. What's wrong with you? You're licking all the ice cream, Dante.
Hey man. Guys, fuck these girls or I will. Because they're looking for it. They're desperate for it. So if you don't fuck them, people like me will come to the rescue and give it as a service.
It sounds like a scary story you tell kids, like for not like behaving, like a scary bedtime story. It's like
if you don't tuck in your covers, I will. You know,
yeah, it's like, if you don't do your job, Dante's gonna come in and do it. Yeah.
He's gonna be the monster under your bed.
Yeah.
Mayaga, you know.
Wow. See, 30 minutes too. That's a nice record to set too.
But again, it's like right guy, right place, right time. It's not because I'm skilled at it. It's not because I'm good looking. It's not because I'm nuke. It's because it was just the girl. You know, the girl was in the right headspace for it, and that's how I got it. So
you would say that you wouldn't say that you're just like above average millionaire with, you know, all the muscles and all that stuff that you need to land her in 30 minutes.
No, it's
perfect.
I just keep filing lottery tickets, and I got the jackpot this time around. So yeah,
there you go. Exactly.
Yeah. It could have just been the homeless guy on the street, but you know what? Dante was there first, so you know.
Yeah.
That is very on point with the topic anyway about most of us won't make it, and that should be okay, because a lot of people always seem to shoot for going for above average. And this particular write-up by Lucky, who I know we all know him on the other group chat we're in, but spoke to me in a way, and I thought it was interesting. And I was reading this, plus I've been doing a lot of people watching lately, online and in the real world, and it made me think about like where the bar for average is today and where people set it. And I've seen some very strange, you know, people that probably seem to get more dates than the higher guys that try to shoot for trying to become the next Andrew Tate or something. So I had to ask you, Panda, why, or like, what do you see yourself as? And, where do you see yourself on the bell curve of average, above average, below average, anywhere? And you're still able to bag a girl.
Well, I've had more practice than most guys, so it's definitely above average.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
At the same time, it doesn't take that many to be above average, because let's do the raw numbers thing. What's the average lifetime partner count across the human population, across guys? Was it 7? The average body count for men, 7 girls ever.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I read that.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it applies to the guys listening, but 7 is pretty. I don't know, man, but 7 is pretty. Like if you're out there and if you're a dog like me, 7 is pretty dismal, pretty low.
If you're a dog like me.
Like it's pretty low, because if you're always going after it, it's only a matter of time before you get more than 7 within the span of a year. So that's, and if you didn't step on your own dick like I did a lot, it'll take you much shorter time than what I did. So, I don't think 7 is that impressive anymore, to be honest.
I agree.
Lifetime.
Well, I mean, does it really matter if it's impressive or not? It's like, it matters what the guy wants. At least he's getting something. If a guy has 7, I'm already kind of like, oh, well, at least you went out there and you at least got 7.
Well, yeah.
Are you happy? Yeah.
For sure. I'm not shitting on that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What I am saying is that the bar is actually pretty low when we talk about the average, right? When we talk about the average, the bar is low. And so, like, we talk about, like, the topic is most of you are not going to make it. Most of you are not going to make it, not because the bar is too high, or that, like we're doing the sex Olympics here and then it's hard to get gold. The reality is a lot of people are pretty lazy, want life to happen to them, are not willing to do the work, simply because there's a lot of hang-ups and there's a lot of things to do that are just uncomfortable. There's a lot of ego to shed. I know I had a lot of that. That's difficult. So most people are not going to want to do that. And setting yourself apart requires you to get out there consistently until it happens.
Well, that's mostly the thing. A lot of guys give up after the first or second try. Even I yesterday, so stupid, like the store clerk from the drugstore. And I've ran into her a couple of times before, and we're always very chatty with each other, and she kind of invades my personal space. And I needed something for the air freshener yesterday, and she was there as well. And again, she was doing it again. And I'm like, hey, what was it? I'm like, hey, can I get your number? Or is that inappropriate at work? She's like, yeah, kind of, but I can give you my Insta. I'm like, okay, sure. And we add each other on Insta. And then later in the day, she texts me. We text a little bit back and forth. I'm like, hey, when are you free to get together? She's like, I have a boyfriend. I'm like, okay. But I just told her, you know what? Let me know when it doesn't work out, and I'll leave it at that. And she's like, what do you mean when it doesn't work out? I'm like, well, I don't find it appropriate to get together when it's going well. So that's what I mean. Well, it's going very well. And I just like the comment. It's like, okay, thank you for letting me know. We already established this, but sure. But that doesn't mean that the next time it happens, I'm not going to go for it. Who's typing in the background?
Oh,
Dante,
I'm wondering.
it's high
That's
tech.
me.
I will
That's
isolate.
me. A coffee friend. Sorry, I'm going to mute
women are
myself.
giving
A
away
coffee
their,
friend just
contact.
messaged me once.
So women are giving away their contact information, not expect you to hit on them afterwards.
Right.
Mishala. My mind is blown.
Dude, I don't know. Like, if a girl asks me for my contact, we know what's gonna happen. It's simple as that. I don't know how women are oblivious to that, or they love to act oblivious to that.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh, last second regret or something. Goodness.
How's everyone doing today?
Doing well, Mish. How about you?
Yeah.
I'm good. Finally leaving to work tomorrow, so yeah, I'm trying to fix my sleep before I go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I guess to piggyback off of Dante saying about the bar not being insurmountably high for most people to jump over. I don't think it's just laziness that's going to keep people beneath that bar, but I can't quite put it into words as to, I don't know, I guess what I'm getting at is that some people were just never going to make it, like right from the start, which is totally fine. Just
Yeah, you have to be fine with that. You're not supposed to save anyone, honestly, except yourself.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. You get like the classic story, right? It's like the guy, like the dad was never home. The mom is a drunk and I don't know, is on drugs or something. Like that guy was never gonna make it ever, right?
The guy who keeps sticking, the guy who sticks in that, where it's like, oh, my parents were horrible and I'm a victim. It's like, yeah, get in line. You guys know Alex Hormozy?
Yeah.
Some of you, like, okay, opinions aside on whatever you think of him, but he did have one video where it's like, you know what? Some people just go out there and their parents get divorced and they were drug dealers and they were drug abusers and they were abusers and whatever. Yeah, and then what? That was years ago. What are you doing today? And I'm like, he's not wrong. I've seen that so many times in my youth as well. And I won't go into my own details, but I knew kids whose parents just got divorced, where it's like, oh, yours just got divorced? That was the only thing? Yeah. It's like, okay, glad you're all right. And they went into hard drugs. They quit school. They got, you name it, like all sorts of shit just because their parents got divorced. And yes, it sucks. And I get it. But by God, after like maybe 3 years, depending on how old you are and if you go to therapy for it, it's kind of done. You know, it's kind of done. Like, get over it. To sound very blunt.
It's Jack, because it's misery loves company, and human love to latch on any excuse that they can latch on just not to do any work. I've seen this happen in my personal life. Some people are very close to me. You know, they did the same thing for 30 years. They just latched on and any excuse that they could find just to avoid doing the work on themselves. You know.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I'm not there to save anyone or you or anyone. Honestly, like, you're not supposed to save these people if they have to save themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What the article goes into as well is guys who kept reading, and Dante knows this. Dante wrote a great Substack about this. Like, guys do not want to be saved. A lot of guys come to the red pill and all they do is read and rant.
Yeah.
Reading and ranting, like goddamn women and women this and women that and blah blah blah. And I mean, every now and then it's nice and dandy and it feels good to shit on women. I know, we all do it.
It's a buffer against rejection, right? The number one thing in order in terms of making it, let's say with women, right? Maybe career too, is you got to get rejected, right? We created dating apps just so we don't have to feel that feeling of rejection, right? It isn't until like 2 weeks in or a month of not getting any matches that you feel that burning rejection, and that burning rejection is going to galvanize you to do something, right? Same thing when you have an interview for a job you really like, and then a week later you get the email saying, "Hey, sorry, you're not the candidate that we wanted," and then you wait another 2 weeks.
If you ever get that email, though.
Yeah. And you get rejected again, that's supposed to tell you like, hey, something's wrong with me and my ability to get a job. So I got to improve, right? But if you have this buffer and these buffers, like self-improvement can become a buffer, right? You can go to the gym and say, where's my fit, hot chick? And I'm like, dude, you just go to the gym and you go home. What about that entitles you to a hot chick? Just, obviously it's great for your health and you'll look good, but you still need game. You still need to talk to people. And that's what happens. The number one thing that's going to separate you and help you make it, right, which most guys won't make it because of this, is, hey, I'm afraid of a bad outcome. I'm afraid of getting rejected, right? And it's good for a man to get rejected from time to time. It hurts in the moment, but it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel present. And it's so necessary in a man's life. And whenever I see these guys arguing or ranting or whatever on the internet about red pill stuff, I could tell easily, like, dude, you're afraid of getting rejected. You're not afraid of women in general. You're afraid of facing your reproductive problem in the face, right? You can't handle that. You have too much ego. I could tell. A guy with no ego is just like, yeah, I got rejected. Whatever. Like, it hurts, but you take the L on, and that's it.
Like I said, that girl yesterday was like, what do you mean when it doesn't work out? Like, well, because when it is working out, I don't want to see you. Well, it's working out fine. Thank you very much. It's like,
works just fine for me.
It's like, okay.
That's that man in the arena where you could tell who the fuck is faking it. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell. I can tell really easily when a guy's just like saying whatever, like a rational male quote, basically, but when guys that live it every day, the guys that go out and test this stuff, or guys that use it to their advantage, they're just like, she's not yours, just your turn. Thank God, right? Because you don't want the opposite.
Nazi guy. He keeps quoting the rational male.
It's like there's a difference between astronomers and astronauts, right?
Exactly. That's
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's like the astronomer knows all the details, can point out constellations in the stars and in the sky or what have you. But the astronomer is the guy who actually has the on the boots experience. He's actually the guy who's been into space. He knows how all of these things, in principle, actually work in real life. Well, it's like these idiots that go after like Buzz Aldrin or something. It's like, dude, the moon landing's fake. Fuck you. And then Buzz Aldrin just punches him in the face.
I just talked about that last night. Funny enough.
Wait,
that's quite a bit.
Face?
Yeah, he punched somebody for it.
Yeah.
Really?
There was like one of these moon landing deniers confronted Buzz Aldrin. And for people who don't know, he was the second guy to stand on the moon. We all know Armstrong was the first guy, but Buzz was the second guy. And he's like, "You liar!" And then he just walked up to him, punched him right in the face.
Really? No.
Good.
Badass.
Fuck those guys. Fuck those deniers. That's the most un-American thing you can do. Say, no, we're not as awesome as we think we are. I'm like, even if it doesn't make sense, you still say, yeah, we're just as awesome as we think we are.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that thing on YouTube, but I can't find it yet.
It's absolutely there somewhere.
What I noticed is that a lot of people with experience, they tend to say things in their own words, and as a way to understand what happened, what they experienced. So I'll give an example. I was talking to Rob like a few days ago, not a few days ago, a few weeks ago, and I said, "Hey, it's as if I can't expect that things are gonna last with this girl." And then he was like, "You mean she's not yours? It's just your turn?" Oh, yeah, that. So it's like a lot of people will always fall back to the jargon when they talk about their experience if they don't have any.
Mhm.
But if
Yeah.
people who have experience will always tell a story, or they'll always have something to tell, or they'll say things in their own words, or they'll give color to an idea, or they'll give the nuance, or they'll they'll express it in a new way that people haven't before because their experience is different. And I don't see that with most people on Twitter, and that worries me because people's notes, again, like Ryan talked about this, where look, everybody on Twitter, everybody on Reddit, everybody on Substack, second opinion, take it or leave it, see if it works for you, try it in your life and see if it works for you. If it does, keep it. If it doesn't, scrap it. I get it. But most of the stuff I've tried, a lot of it didn't work for me. So you guys probably have experienced the same thing, where a guy will say, hey, if a girl flakes without you notifying her, next the bitch, there's nuance there, obviously. So
Yeah, it's really easy to fall back on jargon, red pill jargon, and nomenclature because a lot of guys will say this stuff, but they'll say it almost like in a way that it's still painful to them, right? And that's why I said the final boss of this red pill stuff is the "she's not yours, it's just your turn." Because after a life of women passing you up, or women that you love or care about leaving you out of the blue, you say it, but you're like gritting your teeth while you say it. Whereas guys that have detachment and understand, like, hey, truly, a person can leave. Not only the girl I like, my mother can die. Uh, my best friend can move away. Like all these things, you start realizing. So what's different about women? They're incentivized to leave because they have a lot of options. And also, it's just like, what do you get out of a relationship that's so awesome that when they leave, you're absolutely crushed into bits? Like you can't even function as a human being. You got to start thinking, but I still feel sad. I'm like, yeah, you can still feel sad, but on a logical level, think about it. Like you're going to mourn, but life goes on. You've always lived up to this point. So guys, it takes a long time for guys to accept reality. And the best part of the red pill, I think, for me, is when guys don't know anything about the red pill come here and share their experiences, because we all start speaking the same language but different words, right?
Mhm.
And that's the beautiful part. But when a guy comes to this space and says exactly like exactly out of like an article word for word, I start saying, you read this in an article. Maybe it's something that you haven't really understood or processed. So don't worry about it, right? If you don't need it, then don't use it and then move on. But for us guys that do use or have had experience, you kind of come to the red pill and you explain it in your complete own words, in your own way, on in your perspective. And another guy that's been doing it too. Hey, yeah, I had this exact same experience with the exact same type of girl. And it doesn't, like, age doesn't matter. Like you talk to Rob and me and Rob will be like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, yep. And the next thing this happened, right? Yes. And then I'm like, oh shit. And that was my first show with Rob and Jack where I was like, wait a minute. I'm not as special as I think I am. We're all going through this shit. So yeah.
Mhm.
We're almost at the 2-year anniversary of that. Couple of months
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, like 3
Golly.
months.
But go,
Wow.
grab the article you sent us. The the what was it? Because
Yeah.
3 Kinds of Lucky, like that you found this. I haven't read a lot of 3 Kinds of Lucky.
Yeah. You want me to share it?
Yeah,
I got it right here.
He goes through his what Nuke and Dante mentioned. He goes through his paraphrasing phase with I grinded it out for months, a year, almost 2 years, same thing every week, try new things, see what happened, think about it, calibrate, try something else, see the result, think about it, retry something with a different approach, see what happened, think about it, calibrate. When I was 6 months in, I was still caught up with the dumb concepts like trying to exhibit alpha behaviors, thinking about what an MRP, married red pill, guy would do in my situation, trying to understand frame, good mindsets. By midway through, I had a long list of actions that I knew would work for me to get the results I wanted. I took risks. I did things I was afraid of doing, and I dealt with the consequences. I dropped all the red pill bullshit. I didn't think about alpha actions, beta moves, or any other tropes that I saw guys in Own Your Shit get caught up with. I no longer cared what was in line with the current thinking on Married Red Pill. I knew what I wanted, how to get there, what I was willing to accept, and what the boundaries for me were. I took what I needed and left the rest.
That was my favorite part.
Well, it is kind of the part where the guy has read so much and he's trying so hard, and then it clicks without him knowing it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you come for the women and you leave with self-actualization. And that's the transition to self-actualization where it's like, no, fuck this shit. This isn't fun. This isn't nice. I'm just going to do what I want, not knowing that subconsciously you're adapting the exact behaviors all of us have been talking about. And then you get there and then you see it. White shores. And beyond.
Elysium.
A far greater country. Yeah.
Under a swift sunrise.
Doesn't sound so bad.
No, not so bad at all.
No. But yeah, that's what I liked a lot about that article, where it's like, yeah, and that's when you look at the old mods, their Twitter, especially Chesty and Wine More Please, that certain savagery they have is because they've been there and they don't have patience. But I also think it comes from a good place where they hope you get it. They hope that with them calling you a bundle of sticks, it finally clicks. Where it's like, oh, wait, I am being a bundle of sticks. This really doesn't matter. But unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't go that way.
Nope.
Well, it's like they just cut to the chase because they've been there before. They know how this is going to go. And it's like you see this all the time on Twitter where people have the arguments. It's like, well, like that date fag guy. It's like, oh, we just need to have a gentler, more kinder, more sweeter red pill, and it'll work. And it's like, dude, all these guys like Chesty and such who've been in this space for going on 20 years, everything else has already been tried. All the books have been written. All the research has been done. They know what's up. And they're going to cut to the chase, get right to it, and be done with it. And if it doesn't work for you, too damn bad. I do like how Ryan and all these guys tell the same story. It's like, there's only like 7 to 8 paths into this stuff, and nobody is that unique and nobody is that different.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I think people forget is that men are fucking stubborn.
Yes.
We're fucking stubborn, man.
That's
like,
the point.
unless you have a trauma, or like unless you realize you're just bang your head against the wall with no progress, unless you have that self-awareness, you're not gonna change. This is why most people are not gonna make it, because like your life's been working for you so far. Why should you change? I mean, you think you're aware that it could be different. You're aware that your life is not what you want, but you're still alive. You can eat. Like you're still going to be here tomorrow. It's not like there's a tiger outside that's going to eat you, right? So people are stubborn. I know I had this when I was brewing coffee at first, like 3 months of doing the exact same shit and getting nowhere. And then somebody had to get me aside and say, hey, stop doing what you're doing. Stop complicating. Stop reading. Focus on your core. Make it consistent. Look at the bed. Look at the flow rate. Get that perfect first, and then we can talk about the rest. Stop watching coffee content. Now, it used to take 6 months for me to get over that when I did the red pill thing. Mm-hmm. It took 3 months for me for coffee. So I'm guessing for some of you, it's going to take a lot longer than I did for coffee, but we'll see. So men are fucking stubborn, man. So I get why they're harsh, because they need to get it through your thick skull. it's very hard to tell another man what to do. God knows I've told a bunch of these guys what to do, and of course they're not going to take it because they're all the fucking men on this panel, right? They all know better than I do, maybe, but at the end of the day, it's like you do your best, and the way we communicate is blunt and honest, because if there's any chance that you get something from this, it's in the way that it's in that way of communicating.
True.
This is why I'm glad I had Dante on. I knew he had plenty to say about this for some reason.
Well, and that's why Dante is on this panel, of course.
Heck
Like,
yeah.
Mish, what's your experience in this, especially when it comes to corporate as well?
Oh, dude. The thing is with work, it's like the same thing with relationships. Like if you're not switched on enough to keep a woman around, most likely you won't make it in life when it comes to a job. There's the odd ones here and there who are very good at what they do. These people are very autistic or they abuse drugs, and they're gonna be amazing at their career, but they're not gonna be successful at relationships. I treat every job like I treat women, basically. You got to game them.
That was one of my favorite quotes of you. You got to manage your manager.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like you got to manage your manager. Honestly, it's about managing people. It's what's that article about the bitch management guide?
Oh, that's a bitch management guide. That is human sock puppet.
Yeah, it's the same thing, dude. Like you manage people the same way you manage women. You just put them in the right places and promote them and demote them depending on your needs and what they do for you.
But that would mean everything is transactional, Mish.
Oh my God!
Oof!
How
No,
is that possible?
Oh, no.
Are you saying love doesn't exist?
No, I'm not saying that. Please don't put words in my mouth.
I'll put something else in your mouth. Hey,
I would love that.
Yo.
But yeah, it's like I've written in one of my Substacks. One of my good colleagues who I really love spending time with. That guy, he's funny as hell and everything. But the guy is still in the same place, getting paid the same thing, and he's stuck now with 3 children and a debt that takes 3/4 of his salary probably now, and the guy will not make it, no matter how hard he tries, because he did not do the work. He did not spend time on himself.
Seems to be the common issue here. Nobody doing the work.
Yeah.
I think Mish brings up an interesting point, though, because what happens if you run into a guy? We've all experienced this, right? It's like you can't red pill your friends. I feel like everybody kind of has this experience when you first come across this material. You just want to scream it from the mountaintops and tell all your dude friends that you know, because typically speaking, the guys you hang out with the most are going to be very similar to you, because otherwise, why were you hanging out with them, right? So, like in your brain, you're like, oh, well, if these guys are my friends, then they're maybe more inclined to listen to me on this topic or such. And you kind of realize that they have to come to the material on their own. But then you ask your question like, well, do I still want to be around with these guys? And am I okay with being friends with these guys, even though they're not going to make it in this regard?
I have a friend like that. He knows everything I do. He's been to places with me, but I have to push him in the right direction. And through the years, he just gave up. Gained a lot of weight, kind of quit exercising, things like that, and now is 10-year single. It's like,
wow,
come on, man. I mean, and we had the COVID thing, and he had family things. It's like, dude, but that was then. What about now?
Yep.
Or what about when it wasn't happening? In all honesty, I get laid like hell during COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, Tinder was like, it was amazing because most of the chicks were like, "Oh, we got the curfew and things like that, and that's exciting. Like, are you sure you can come over?" It's like, "Oh, I'll just take some back alleys here and there." It's like, who cares?
So
Jack-
hot. That's so interesting that you say that.
Jack, can is it true? Is it true that women want sex? Is that true?
No.
That's amazing.
Our best agents have not come back with concrete evidence of this, Dante.
Oh, no.
It's a rumor. It's a rumor.
Oh dear.
Source?
Yeah.
I've
It's like the Loch Ness monster or Bigfoot.
But that's when I heard a friend of mine who, like, his little brother, he's like, yeah, he's been talking to this girl for 6 months because they couldn't meet because of COVID. I texted Watson right away when I was with that guy. I'm like, Watson, you are not gonna believe this. And we laughed so hard. It's like they didn't want to meet because of COVID. Meanwhile, Watson and I left and right. This girl was like, oh, but you have to come in the afternoon because of the curfew. And like, baby, I don't care. I don't care about no curfew. It's like, or you have to stay over, or she has to stay over. It's like, that was just, you did it. You found a way.
I'm just imagining Jack running through back alleys and neighborhoods in a ski mask and a black suit with a backpack and a grappling hook. And
Ski mask.
Not ski mask. No. Consensual non-consent is where I draw the line, man. I'm not going there. I just can't.
No, officer, I'm not here to rob this house. I'm just here to fuck this girl. Sure, pal.
You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Could you just shut up, sir? No, you don't understand. No, sir, we do understand. Just don't talk. Okay, you have the right to remain silent. I suggest you use it.
He's the hero nobody wants, but everybody needs right now.
No, but it was happening during COVID. I don't know about you guys, but like I still got matches left and right, and I still met them. And because the girls were kind of sick of it too, where it's like, this is bullshit, and we want to do things. And like then you got the normie guys who were like, well, we got to listen to the government, and then you got assholes like Watson and I who were like, hey baby, wanna break the rules? You got some rules to break over there? It's like, hey, I got some
Coming hot with his dick.
Yeah. It was amazing. Oh, the good old days. Good times to be had. I wish those upon everybody. I wish you all get laid tonight. I truly wish
COVID was an interesting social experiment to see what was happening in the background. Over here, there's a lot of men who got exposed. Not exposed. They basically were, they had other wives.
Oh,
damn.
Damn. Nuke, your Latina
COVID.
culture ain't got shit on Misha's culture.
Oh, yeah.
I can't relate. I don't know what they're talking about.
So a lot of men, they finally got outed for having a second and a third wife.
I see your mistress and I raise you a wife.
I see your wife and I raise you 2 baby mamas. Full house.
But like
Full
like
house.
Jack was saying, I remember
Mr.
during
Bond.
COVID is when I got 700, 800 matches on Tinder.
Oh yeah, but you live in the middle of Saudi Arabia, and it's like the most crowded city, and you are devilishly charming, and it's not fair. It's not
Right.
fair.
Nope, not fair at all.
I've heard that sand makes your pussy itch. So
It's coarse. It's irritating.
Coarse.
It's everywhere.
It gets everywhere.
that'll get.
But we do have the cure for that. It's called water hoses. We actually wash our
Hoses. What
Oh,
are
Is that what you
those?
call it? Is that what you call it?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you call your ween?
You just
A
don't get her
water hose?
excited and then clean herself out that way.
I mean, if they're into that, who am I to stop them, dude?
What's
If they
that
want some
South Park?
golden
What's
shower.
that South Park quote again? It's like you stick your wiener inside of her and pee a little. What?
Oh Jesus!
You have to suck the sand out of the desert, like be the Lisan Al Gaib type shit.
Oh
Nah.
God, dude! Wow,
My desert,
my
Arrakis.
forest, my Dune. I actually saw Dune 2 a while back. It was actually pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to
Both very
Dune
good.
3.
I like Rebecca Ferguson. She's pretty hot.
Oh, that's Paul's mom, right?
Yeah, that's right.
God damn,
What?
you're a dog.
Dude, have you seen her being interviewed by people? Like
No.
all her interviews, she's such a flirty bitch. I love
As
her.
long as we can all agree that
Sedenya must be removed.
yeah,
Yes.
she was
I'd
a bit
I'd actually swap Rebecca Ferguson for Zendaya, and she'd still do a better.
They're
she'd still do a better
they keep
job.
trying to make this woman like the next big thing, and I'm like, who the fuck likes her?
Sydney
It's not-
Sweeney
Yeah, really.
comes in and it's like, who?
So it's like they,
Sedenya.
of course, they couldn't actually, you know, do a 1-for-1 of Chani's character from the book into the movie because
Why not?
Why
because in the
not?
book she willingly just accepts her role as Paul Atreides' concubine.
Nice.
Oh.
She's totally down for it. She's like, I don't care.
Well, there's a portion in that book that goes like, I think it was Paul who says, I don't know if it was Paul or if it was the Queen or something, but he basically says, "This girl is just my this girl is just my wife. You're the girl I actually love."
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, and I think that going back to that kind of matters. Like a lot of times people get married, at least way back when. I don't know now. But way back when, you get married for land or like property or like, to alliances and shit like that. But now you marry for love, right? But back then, when you had to marry because it was the family thing to do and it was the economic thing to do, you had people you actually love as mistresses. Like now it's more like you become a corporation together because you're in love, which is it's a little weird because love does come and go. Like starting a company because you're passionate about it, like those kinds of most of those companies fail. So like marriages today just don't work in the way they do because they're not built for love. They're built for like legal agreements and like family shit and like property.
Yeah.
It's not the way it is. So I don't know why. Like I don't know why people are itching to get married, especially guys, because it's your ass. It's your ass. You're the boss. Like it's a vertical merger, right?
Well, they want to get married because they think that will solve everything. Like, oh, we're married now, and they think that her love is unconditional as long as they're married, which it is not.
It's kind of like we were talking about yesterday on Nuke's show. It's like no matter the circumstances, just make sure you're okay. And we were referring that to electoral politics. It's kind of the same thing. Like if you see like a guy who's actually red pilled and has his frame. I mean, I got no issue with that guy going out and getting married. I have all the confidence in the world that he'll be fine.
That's
It's
what
like hiring
Agreed.
an employee, right? When you hire an employee, like that employee doesn't need to work. He can quit. He can show up lazy. He can half-ass it. If you wanna hire somebody that's invested, that takes some. First of all, you need to be a company everybody wants to work for. Second of all, the benefits and the pay have to be great. Thirdly, you need to treat them well, right? So, like, it takes all that to make somebody happy to work for you. What more a wife? That girl has to put out. That girl has to work. That girl has to love you and love your kids. So, if you don't know how to hire anybody, what makes you think you'd be a great, you'd be a great lover or a husband, right? So that's how I think about it. I could be wrong. I don't know anything about marriage. I'm not married after all.
I totally agree with Dante on that. Honestly, maybe some people will not agree with what we say. Like you being, a company that people want to work in, but it is true. Like you want to invite people over to your life because your life should be fun. You should be exciting. You should be engaging. Fortunately, that's our burden as men. Like you have to be all of that stuff. Like you cannot afford to be, comfortable and relaxed all the time.
No, it's the stay plan is the same as the go plan is where it comes down to. Whether you're married or not, you have to be attractive. Whether you're married or not, you have to be financially well off enough for yourself. It's that cooking and cleaning thing I keep coming back to. Guys keep saying, like, I want a wife who cooks and cleans. It's like, buddy, can you cook and clean yourself?
Yep.
Because what if she doesn't? Are you going to live in a pigsty? and then be like, well, that's her fault. Fault is for women and children. Can't you clean your own fucking house?
A lot of the time they can't.
Dude,
Can you
you
cook
would be
your own
surprised.
goddamn meals? You need a woman to do that. What are you, 5? Like, get your head out of your ass. Like, you want a woman who cooks and cleans for you because she wants to, not because you need to. And that's also something a lot of guys get wrong. Like, I need a woman who cooks and cleans. Eat a fucking dick. How about that? You need to do that.
Also, like, what standards are you going to set if you don't know how to clean and cook yourself?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
if you're
How does that
cooking,
look
if
on
you're
you?
cook,
Yeah.
if you're cooking shit, or if you do, if you're cooking very low, like very basic, and you expect your wife to be like the chef from France, fucking France. I don't know if that'll work out for you very well, because that means that she has a lot more value to bring in terms of the cooking than you do. And maybe if you dick her down really hard and pleasure her in other ways, that's fine. But I personally wouldn't know what to hire for in terms of cooking and cleaning if I don't have standards myself, right? Like I could have very low standards, and then somebody just barely keeps up to them is there to fit the bill. But I don't know. Like, you also have to figure out what you want. Maybe cooking and cleaning, like, to the nth degree is not a big priority for you.
Make enough money to hire a maid if you want someone to babysit you and mommy you do. Honestly,
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So,
how much your time is worth? That's the question that you should ask. Like, is your time? Are you getting paid a shit ton of money? Where taking an hour or two of your day to clean and cook and do all of that stuff is too expensive for you? Then you should hire someone. You're probably at the point in your life where you can hire a maid to cook and clean for you. If the wife does that for you, that's amazing. That's a good wife. If she takes care of you, if she wants to be a housewife, that's amazing. But you shouldn't be expecting that of anyone. I mean, you should be able to clean your own ass and cook your own food. God forbid you wake up hungry and you cannot even feed yourself. Like, I've known people who actually don't know how to feed themselves. You're talking about someone who's 50 years old.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they don't know how to even order a meal from, like, on an online app or like through the phone.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of guys, in terms of long-term relationships, let's just call it marriage, right? Most guys don't qualify, right? And the reason they don't qualify is that women, the medium is a message, right? The average age of being married is going up, meaning women are putting it off more and more and more. And if there was a magic pill that pushed off fertility to 35, then women would get married at 35, right? It's just most guys don't qualify for marriage, and the ones that do are asking themselves, hey, like, what do I get out of this? Like, I worked really hard for this money and for this peace and quiet in my house, and I don't want to calendar sabotage my life now because a woman decided she wants to go to do this on the weekend when I could be playing video games and all that stuff. So the cost of male commitment goes way up, and because guys are just like, no, I don't want to be in a relationship unless it's worth it. So
that is absolutely fine. That's your right.
Yeah, and the thing is, going forward, a lot of guys are in this, like, kind of like, what do you call it? What do you call it in heaven when you're not in hell or in
Purgatory.
Purgatory, yeah.
Right. Purgatory, right? Where they're just like, I have everything I need and I have the skills to get married, and here I am, right? And I don't know, I guess it's for guys that are like more accomplished in life. They see this and they're just like, why would I put up with a nagging woman or a woman that, because women don't really have good PR right now because, social media. So why would I put up with this, right? So it seems to me that making it and getting married are starting to really be two different things. Like, they're bifurcating really fast, because now making it just seems to be happy, saving money, and not having to deal with someone that doesn't really add anything to your life. Where back in the day, guys are slowly there's guys who are slowly waking up to marriage not being a good deal because it's just like, I don't qualify right now, but when I do qualify, what's in it for me? And that's a question every guy should ask himself. What's in it for me? Because if you don't, you're gonna you're gonna become like a bot. You're just gonna do it because your parents wanted you to do it and all that stuff, and you're not gonna be that happy, or you're gonna have to find a way to be happy in your marriage, and that's really, really difficult. So
Pretend to be happy.
That is true. I totally agree with Nuke on that. You always question what's in it for you. So even if you decide to get married one day, you gotta ask yourself the question, like, is this one bringing any value to my life? And if anything, you should hold yourself accountable. And I don't think many people will agree with me on that, because it's on you to attract, the kind of people or invite people to your life. So if you're inviting someone who's crazy BBT, doing all this crazy shit, I mean, at this point, it's on you, dude. Like, you can't even figure out these crazy women.
Yeah.
With all this information that you have for free,
And this is why you get your own personal HR department called Chat of Arabia, who you can text on demand, like, "Hey, Mish, I may want to date this girl. Analyze, please."
It's good to do that, I think, with like dating in general, and with anybody in your life, friends included. Like, if you got anybody that's just a negative influence for you, and if you ask yourself, how does this affect me? Then
can I share my successes with them?
Yes.
That's like, do I feel relieved to tell them what I've accomplished, or do I feel reluctant to tell them, like,
exactly.
"Hey, this is what happened online today. Hey, this is what's happening now. Blah blah blah. I've achieved X, Y, and Z at work, or I got this promotion, or I got so many subs, or this and that." And will they be like, "Oh man, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you," or will you feel that slight resentment in the back of your neck where it's like, maybe I should not tell them this, where it's like, "Oh man, I had this amazing date." Will they like enjoy that, or will they be like, "Oh, he got a date again," kind of thing? Know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Tadashi spotted. Tadashi's in the background. We spotted him.
Put
He's here.
up Bull Rush's last comment, because I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys have this fantasy that once they get married to a chick,
I totally agree with that.
that chick is automatically going to become their caregiver. And I don't know, man. The kind of guy that's
From
looking
mommy,
for
dude.
that, yeah, he's looking for mommy. The kind of guy that's looking for that is exactly the kind of guy that a girl with those capabilities will not want to touch. Because the caregiving aspect of chicks is a side thing. It's not a main thing. It's not like you're hiring a maid. You're not hiring. You can hire a maid. That's what you do. If you need somebody to take care of you or take care of the place, you hire a maid, right? Or you hire like a butler, or whatever those people are that they'll wash you and shit. I don't know. But when you want somebody that that wants to fuck you, that wants you enthusiastically, but you also want her to be functional, you can, like, if you have options, you the most functional one of the bunch, but to look for a wife specifically for her functionality, I think puts on the woman, not on you, what the kind of life that you want, and that's kind of dangerous for me. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I think about it.
It's like many guys think that the relationship or the marriage or what have you is like the end of the marathon, and really it's just the start.
The
of a new one.
beginning.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, I reached the finish line. I cleared the final course. I'm like Super Mario. I'm like jumping on the
yep.
like
And
the
then
flag at the end.
And then you get at the altar, and it's like, "I'm sorry, your princess is in another castle."
Yeah, exactly.
You have to keep working at. You have to keep working. You have to keep making money. You have to keep being attractive. You cannot falter at any point, because that's when they'll strike hardest. It's true though. That's when women strike hardest. I remember having a stomach flu, and that's when she started shit. Fuck this bitch. Came back with a vengeance, though.
You also have to define what making it is, because making it for every person is different. And also, do we ever really make it? You know, do we ever get exactly what we want, or we get what we thought we wanted, and then we're just like, yeah, not for me, and then we get bored with what we achieved. Like, it's a very dynamic, ever-changing goalpost that we have for ourselves, and that's okay. And I think making it, to me, is basically, you know what you want and you have a plan and you're going towards that, whatever it is. And then up along that journey, you may find, hey, I really don't want as much as I thought. Let me invest my time in something different. And I think that ultimately is making it. So when you can be a guy that has gotten everything he wanted, and then some guy on the internet say, "Hey, dude, you're dumb," and then that guy goes on a rant for like 4 paragraphs about how you're wrong and he's right. I don't think that's making it, right? Because if you did make it and you got what you wanted, or getting what you want, or on the way, why would you worry about someone who you don't know opinion, right? Why is it so important that some random stranger internet reinforce your life choices and your way of doing things? And that's why I see a lot of people like when I tweet and stuff like that, I can immediately tell, hey, like this guy is he's not where he wants to be, or she's not where he wants to be, right? It's like why we say, like, when women come on the internet and argue with men about our choices, right? It's just like, you are living the dream, right? You're married. That's every woman's dream, right? So if I was living my dream, you know, I wouldn't be arguing with Chad of Arabia, some guy from the Middle East on the internet, you know. But here we are, 13 posts later, and they're just like, oh, and it's just like, you know, there is this belief that everything that everyone posts on social media is real. But I can tell you, the happiest I've ever been, or I'm not gonna say happy, but feeling contentment, you just don't really care what other people think that much, right? And if you do, it's like you want them, it's like you're messing with them, right? Because they can say anything about you. You're just like, yeah, I can see why you say I'm a loser. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to my life, and then you just double down and just keep letting them convince themselves you're a loser. But anyways, it's just, making it is very easy to pretend on social media, right? And people build brands on making it. You have these guys that are like build brands and they're rich. Look at my Lamborghini, blah blah blah. And then people that get married and my husband. It's all like, why are you? Like, if I made it, I'd still stream and do stuff, right? But I would not like show off my stuff. I wouldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't even like, if I loved a girl, I wouldn't show up on the internet. Not because I'm afraid someone's going to take her away, but because who fucking cares? For me.
Thank you.
Yep. That's part of why I had this too. Yeah. I picked this topic for that same reason.
Yeah, it's mine. Like, why do I need your approval for the women I fuck,
Thank you. I mean, I've had that
Precisely.
argument. I've had that argument before with a girl. It's like, you never post me. It's like, why would I need to? Whose approval do I need? You're already here and we are having fun and I'm living in the moment. Why would I take myself out of the moment to seek validation from people I will never meet for you?
Yeah,
Or
but the
because
thing
of
is,
you.
Jack, with women who want you to post them on social media, some of them, they want to announce it to the world and just basically say that this guy is mine.
The best way to do that is rub yourself all over me. Let me. If I don't smell like you by the end of the day, you're doing something wrong. That's how people
Okay.
will know I'm yours. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Get that stank.
Stank so good.
Dude, you joke about it, but women do actually,
I know they do.
They know about
when
the
they're
smell
actually
stuff.
when they're actually into you, they do it. It's like I said, if
Yeah.
I am not annoyed by how much you are into me, something is wrong. If I don't feel like I do not want to be touched at the end of the day, you are doing something wrong.
Yeah. And I think now that we're in a post-marriage society where like marriage
Marty.
really doesn't really matter that much, is a relationship making it for both genders, right? And that's another thing guys got to understand. Like, a lot of guys in their in their mind are just like, if I have sex with this chick, she's gonna be obsessed with me and want to date me and chase me down and all that stuff. And then they'll find like, hey, just like for you, making it is not a relationship for them as well, right? Because what do they get out of it, besides sex? Like, do women really want to be in relationships? Most of them don't. Like, even if they say they do, most of them know they put zero effort and all that stuff. And even if you do get a hot chick, that's another thing. Like, hot chick is a cornerstone of, look, I made it. I got a hot chick. Look, everyone, look at my hot chick. But like, a lot of guys say, like, it's nice to buy a boat, right? Keeping a boat is fucking
It's
expensive
a total
and time.
different game.
Yeah, it's not like a plane. Like, that's why Chad Arabia he has planes and he only uses them once, right? It's just,
YOLO.
Everybody wants a boat until they own a boat.
Yep.
yeah, that's why Mexicans, we just steal it,
Jesus.
But the point is like, for guys, especially the guys that have experience, they know like it's funny because we laugh at people that are all trying to show off or trying to get things that they think will get them into Valhalla, which is like making it, right? Like, a guy will work on his physique and crash his hormones, do whatever it takes to get the perfect physique, right? And then he's like, where's my girl? And then like the guys that are like skinny that took action have hot chicks, and then this 4chan-esque discussion over decades on the internet is like, is it looks that matter? I'm like, no, dude, it's not about looks or not about looks. It's about action is number one. You cannot get a girl unless you take 4 steps to her and say hello. That, like, why is the internet so against taking action? It's because that's what the internet does. It's not about action. It's about, let me pretend and convince myself that I've made it, right? So
And they keep thinking women will throw themselves into their lap, which ironically, and hear me out on this one, women will put yourself more into your orbit when you're more attractive and things like that, but you still have to be able to continue the interaction. And that's what a lot of guys can't do. They're like, yes, they're hot enough to get a girl's attention, but they're not capable enough to keep it. Like, you articulate your interest. Can you verbalize? Oh, God damn it. Where was I going with this? Can you continue the interaction with her verbally? Can you banter? Can you play? And can you lead it to sex? Can you do that? Because if not,
It's like,
your muscles alone.
I'll give you an example, right? So
do we
and
lose
by
him?
the way, that Mexican joke
I think we lost him.
was way more funny than you think, since most pool boys are Mexican. So there was a little irony in there that you missed.
I'll give you guys an example, right? Like, there's guys that are like, see a couple, and they're just like, what am I doing wrong, right? I see a normal looking guy with a hot chick, right? But guys with experience, guys that understand, this praxeology stuff, they're just like, okay, so first off, a relationship isn't a goal, right? It's just a situation you find yourself in. It's an eventuality. If you're a guy that, is not a lazy and a piece of shit, a girl will be like, hey, let's get in a relationship. Eventually, somewhere along the line, a girl will want to share a life with you, albeit temporarily.
Look at your pee-pee.
Yeah. Number 2, look at your Sunday afternoon. Look at your Sunday afternoon, right? You get to get up and do whatever you want, right? You go to your PlayStation 5, you play it, and you eat whatever you want. If you have a girlfriend, your Sunday probably will have to do something with her, most likely. You need to spend time with your girl from time to time. That's how relationships are. So you look at this guy and you're just like, yeah, that guy has, a girlfriend, but I have my Sundays and my Saturdays to myself, right? And I'm not saying having a girlfriend is good or bad or anything. I'm just saying that there's no solutions in life. There's only trade-offs, right? If you're in a situation where you really want to just spend time alone, then maybe looking at that guy's situation is not like, hey, he didn't make it. He did a trade-off, right? And that's ultimately for guys that are not sure where they stand, right? You have to understand what that guy in front of you, what this guy or this other guy had to give up in order to get what he wanted, and is it worth it for you? And you always do that assessment in your mind, because a lot of guys will be like, hey, this Twitch streamer gets to play video games for a living, right? But at the same time, a lot of them are absolutely, they can go into a supermarket and no one will know who they are, and they're constantly they have to do crazy stuff in order to stay relevant. Whereas, as an engineer, I just go to work and I get promoted, and I get to shake hands with people, and people respect me and my name, and I get to go home and no one gives a fuck who I am, right? And these are all trade-offs. There is no one is better than the other, right? Maybe you like clout, maybe you don't. And there, like, for example, there's another example where it's like, I have a really hot chick. Look, guys, look at my hot chick. And it's just like, yeah, but guys who have experienced hot chicks, yeah, the sex is fun, but the headaches are not so fun that come with hot chick. Yeah, of course, there's probably hot chicks that are pretty awesome, but the really hot crazy chicks, that's like a temporary. Every guy goes through that phase, and it's just like, you know what? I kind of like this other girl who's sweet, caring, gives better blowjobs, and I'm happier with. And I don't. And then you realize, one of the reasons I wanted a hot chick was my friends can be like, look how awesome I am. So yeah, just you're making it. It's up to you, and most of the time, but like, just don't go to jail, stuff like that. But ultimately, you are the one decide who make it or not, that you make it or not.
Yeah. Agreed.
Any closing arguments?
I was gonna say, yeah, that was a good closing statement there, as always. Anything else from anybody else? I have, you know what? I do have something. I saw something. Where did it go? You know what? I see this right here, Marty. Yeah, as expected.
Eat a dick. Eat all the dicks. As Marty would say, dicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, awesome. Anyway, all right. I guess we could do our round the table here. Plug your stuff, and tell us what you got coming up. Everybody around the table. Start with Jack, Nuke, Chad of Arabia, and RedHawk. Let's go.
Okay. New Substack dropped this morning. Older men have higher value, or do they? I'm going to discuss that in my latest Substack, so please go check that out. I would very much appreciate it. Hit the like button here and subscribe to Gov, and comment down below your thoughts of this show. Nuke?
Show tonight, 9 p.m. Central, and new Substack last night. Thank you.
And if you do not subscribe to the Substack, he will hunt you down with the Buster Blighter. He will find you.
While you guys were busy writing on Substack, Nuke was studying the blade.
I was molded by it. I didn't see. I didn't see a vagina until I was already a man.
By then, it was nothing to me but blinding.
But blinding.
Yeah.
You think your social life gives you power?
Fight back.
When her vagina is in ashes, you have my permission to die.
You have my permission to die.
You think this gives me power over you?
Yeah.
Oh, you think Red Pill is your ally?
Niche?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
No, we lost.
Is that
You went to-
Tuscan Raider even there?
I was muted, dude. Jesus. Anyways, yeah, I got a couple of Substacks in the works. Maybe by next week, maybe before that. Depends, It's gonna be a little bit different this time, but still talking about the career stuff.
I really love your Substack. I really do. All the
thank you,
corporate
man.
stuff. That is so
Yeah.
good.
Well,
I mean,
Cool.
if it helps someone, I mean that's the whole point of it. Like if someone can make any use of it.
Have it. There we go.
well, for me, check me out on Twitter. Check out the OGC. It looks like I'm gonna have to evacuate my place this week for this fucking Hurricane 2 electric boogaloo. That's coming.
Yeah.
through. So that's what I'll be doing this week. So wonderful.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey.
Texas will accept you with open arms.
Yeah. We're waiting.
Yeah.
And hey, if you come up a little bit further north, you can still avoid the hurricanes. I don't even know about hurricanes anymore until I hear it on the news and I go, oh, I guess there's another one forming in the Gulf. Back then I used to, living in Houston, I had to watch out for them all the time. So such as being in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida, you got to deal with those all the time.
Yeah, wonderful.
But yeah, awesome. And then as for me, I've got a Substack that I just opened up, made one article so far. It's just a little for fun one. And I've got my Twitter, which everybody's Twitter and important stuff is on the description of this video. So that makes it easier to access everything. And you can find my stuff there. So I guess if that's it, we can go ahead and shut it off. All
Cheers,
right.
guys.
See y'all
Cheers,
later.
boys.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.